Hey everyone, welcome to the Reddit branch. Today we have interesting stories from Reddit that I would love to hear your opinion about. So feel free to let me know what you think down in the comment section. If you enjoy the video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for content like this every day. First story. Am I the a-hole for snitching on my stepmom for throwing away my grandma's furniture? Let me start by saying that I get along pretty well with my stepmom. I have nothing against her. My grandma and great-grandma lived in a duplex-style house. My great-grandma recently passed away, leaving her side of the house to my grandma, as well as all of the belongings and furniture. My dad and stepmom moved in and they do not pay rent. My grandma doesn't need the rent money and she wants to be close to their two kids, so it works out. The only condition was that they left the furniture in the house alone. It has sentimental value to my grandma and she isn't ready to deal with it yet, even if there isn't any room for it in her house, so the furniture has to stay. But my stepmom hates the furniture. It's not ugly, there is a beautiful wooden china cabinet and a matching table with chairs, and then there is some other stuff, but she thinks it's too old-fashioned. So every once in a while, she would move a piece of furniture outside and then forget about it, and it would get damaged and have to be thrown away. Anyways, this is where I got involved. I was at her house and she was discussing getting rid of the china cabinet and the table, and asked to have my grandma come look at the stuff in the cabinet to see if she wants any of it. So I let her know my stepmom wanted her to have a look and she broke down in tears. She said she had told them time and time again that the furniture had to stay, because it was something her mother had worked hard to get, and that if it was that big of an issue, that they should move it to one of the 3 bedrooms and then they'd bolt the door, so it would be out of the way. She wanted to confront them, but I was worried it would make my stepmom upset with me. But my grandma made the point that I would rather not have her say anything and let my stepmom throw away all of my grandma's stuff than make my stepmom upset, and that's not what I want. So she confronted her and basically told her if she couldn't leave the furniture, she could always move. My stepmom was a bit upset but kinda just brushed it off. Then today, she asked me to move a desk outside. I didn't want to be rude and ask if my grandma allowed it because I knew she would be upset. So I quietly suggested that my dad just confirm with my grandma that she's okay with it. That way I didn't come off as accusatory. Then he loudly repeated what I said, which obviously my stepmom heard, and she said, "What, are you our little snitch?" So basically, long story short, I feel very uncomfortable because I don't know what to do. But we live around each other and I don't want there to be any tension. I don't want to come off as a snitch, I just want my grandma not to get walked on. Maybe I'm getting into business where I don't belong, I don't know. People replied in the comments with, "You're not the a-hole. They already don't pay rent. Never mind throwing items of sentimental value out that do not belong to them and your grandma specifically told them to keep it. They also had the alternative of moving the stuff into a spare bedroom or could have paid the storage since they live there rent-free. You're not the a-hole. But you need to sit down and have a very frank conversation with your stepmom and dad. You need to tell them how you feel. And just frankly say, you need to tell grandma before you dispose of anything or I will. You're not the a-hole. Your stepmom has some nerve. She and your dad moved in rent-free with the conditions that the furniture stays. You did a good thing here by standing up for your grandma." Next story. Am I the a-hole for not paying my nephew's college tuition? My younger brother and I are vastly different. He didn't go to college and went into construction, while I went to become a mechanical engineer and earning an MBA. I work in a very large company and get paid extremely well. We both have kids. I have a son, 24 male, and a daughter, 26 female. They are my world. My son took after his mother and went to Yale and became a lawyer. He's doing very well in his life, and my daughter also finished her master's in Columbia. They are both already earning extremely well for their age. However, as their father, I believe it is my duty to make sure they get the best life possible. I have paid for their private school, tuition, and university. I have also bought my son and daughter their first house. My brother, on the other hand, never really moved up in construction, and because of the pandemic, he was laid off. His eldest son has just gotten accepted into state school, and the younger one is currently a junior. Anyways, my wife and I invited our brother and their family to our place. Things were normal at first, then my brother asked about my daughter. Well, she's getting married soon, so I told him about all the wedding plans and how I was so excited to be walking her down the aisle. I told him how I was making sure this was the best wedding possible. They are having an expensive wedding around 100,000 worth. My daughter has already saved money for this, but as her father, I can't imagine sending her off like this, and I'm going to put 50,000 for it. My brother then smiled and asked my niece to tell something. She proceeded to ask how much she would be getting for college. I was a bit confused. My brother picked up on this and said since we have so much money, he thought we were going to pay for both their children's education and buy them a gift for completing high school. We bought cars for the children. Things got awkward and I told her I wouldn't be paying for anything. My niece almost cried and my nephew was honestly hurt. My sister-in-law got really pissed and my brother and I got into a screaming match. It ended with him calling me a selfish a-hole and saying I have no compassion if I'm letting my nibblings go into large student debt. I retaliated and told him if he wasn't a failure he could have paid. People replied in the comments with, "You're not the a-hole, but I do hope you didn't break your arm patting yourself on the back." Everyone sucks. You aren't obligated to pay for their college or anything for them. Your niece and nephew could have asked in a different way and your decision not to help should have been accepted. They may have to get loans, which from experience are hard to deal with, but not impossible. However, you clearly look down on your brother for having a perfectly respectable job. The pandemic has hit a lot of laborers hard, and that doesn't make them losers or failures. Bragging about how much money you're spending to someone who's going through finance hardship is incredibly tacky. Money cannot buy class. I didn't think you were the a-hole until the last sentence. You are under no obligation to pay for anything for your siblings, but it is rude to rub your wealth in his face and go on about the amount of money you are giving your daughter for her wedding, as opposite to just saying you're helping them pay for it. Even worse though, was calling him a failure for not being able to give his kids the material things you have given yours. That's messed up. Next story. Would I be the a-hole if I threatened to take my ex to court over some movies? I, 22 female, and my ex, 23 male, broke up last year. We lived together prior in his house and I moved out in a rush, as it was actually excruciating to be in the same house as him after our breakup as I was still very much in love with him. Some of my stuff was still in the trash bags as I had never finished unpacking. One bag was full to the brim with movies, Disney movies, romantic movies. It was easily $600 worth of movies stuffed in a trash bag. Really, we couldn't unpack it even if we wanted to because there was nowhere to put all of them. I moved back into my parents and after I finished unpacking, I realized that I had none of my movies. I texted him a list of stuff that I needed. I had to cut contact shortly thereafter to preserve my mental health. However, he gave me everything back except my movies. My dad, since he paid for them and they are technically his, has asked him twice for the movies back, and the first time he said he would look and the second time said that he cannot find them. It's been 5 months since I moved out now, and he still hasn't found them. There is now talk about taking him to small claims room in an effort to get the movies back. There is a part of me that wants to and thinks we should, but there is also a part of me that says that if I take him to court just for some movies, I would be a major jerk as he was already deep in debt when I left. So Reddit, would I be the a-hole? People replied in the comments with, "You would be the a-hole if you did that. You left your stuff in trash bags. It's an a-hole move to sue someone for treating it like trash. Also, $600 worth of used DVDs is like 1,200 DVDs. Is that how many there were? Used DVDs are practically worthless since streaming became ubiquitous. If you were to sue for the DVDs, it should be their current value, not what your dad paid for them. I don't know what small claims court entails, but if it's going to cost you more than $600 to get them back, then you'll be better off buying replacements. For your own mental health, let it go and work on yourself." This concludes all the stories we have for this video. Thank you so much for watching and I hope you enjoyed it. Please feel free to share your opinions in the comment section down below. Until next time.